Anger is power. I am unyielding.
What is going on, YouTube? We have another build here for you today. This is my take on a WhirlingAssualt martial artist, HCSSF, of course. I will say right out the gate, this is not fresh start friendly. You need lock tonals to generate charges, and then you're gonna need level 41 to run WhirlingAssualt. I personally leveled as lightning arrow with lightning rod up until I could get snipe. Then I added freezing salvo with snipe on there, which did really good on bosses. Just freeze them, hit them with the snipe, and then switched over to ice shot, which I ran basically until I could use WhirlingAssualt and lock tonals, or you could just stay lightning arrow with rods. So this build is extremely easy to play. It has very, very good DPS and is very tanky. And of course, it's spin to win, which, you know, who doesn't love spin to win? The downside, like I already said, is you do need lock tonals and you need level 41 to run WhirlingAssualt. For gear, other than lock tonals, you don't really need anything. You can pretty much craft everything as you go. Basically, for my quarterstaff, I went for a good flat fizz, good increased fizz with flat lightning on there. And then we were able to get a really lucky T1 attack speed for our +1 suffix by using the Sorel's Triumph rune to get an extra suffix on this. So we're going to get +3 to all attacks and then T1 attack speed. Something like this, anything like this, or anything, a better version of this, is pretty much what you want to go for here. Like I said, nothing too over the top or too complicated. For your helmet, same thing as we do in a lot of our builds, subterfuge mask. So we're going for a massive ES helmet here so we can take advantage of the 1-to-1 ratio on energy shield to evasion. And then, you know, grab any resistances or anything like that you need. Chest piece, I went with a straight ES chest piece here. I did, as I was leveling, I was using a hybrid chest piece with evasion ES, but eventually I got to the point where I just had a really good flat ES chest piece, and it made more sense to go for the higher hit pool. With our charges up and using charge regulation, it does put us right about 9,000 energy shield, 1,500 life. And I think, I want to say it's like mid 30% on evasion when we're like hitting and dodge rolling and all that. For amulet, you are going to want something with spirit. Well, I guess you probably don't have to go spirit. So I am running a companion pet on here that gives me a physical damage aura, and then he has always shocks. We don't really need the shock because we have the extra lightning damage added from Rend. But before I got that online, it was handy. And then we just want to go for as much plus the melee on here as you can get. Any increased evasion, increased energy shield, flat energy shield, anything like that you can get defensively that helps you out. For the rings, you basically just want to go for flat damage on these. You know, I think my rings are okay, but you can definitely do a lot better here. Just try and grab the best flat damage you can. Flat fizz is going to be your best stat, and then, you know, any flat after that, flat elemental. Boots, again, we're going full ES on everything at this point with the build. So we're just going for movement speed boots, as much ES as you can get, and throw some res on there. Belt is just a res belt, life meta. For our offhand, I am using the Amor Mandragora, which the main reason we're doing this is it gives us increased skill effect duration. With this build, we're going to be using Rend, and what it does is basically when we have a power charge available to us and we use Rend, it's going to give us a buff that grants 50% damage gained as lightning, and that lasts for 10 seconds. Doesn't go away when we shapeshift out, so it's just very, very strong, especially because we always have charges, so we can use it whenever we want. As far as the skill gems go, Hollow Form is going to be our main ability. So with Hollow Form, you can use it in a couple different ways. You can hold it, and it will channel guys every... I'm not sure what the actual time is on it. Or you can click it, and if you spam it as fast as you can, it will actually channel them a little bit faster, depending on how fast you can click. I'm sure there are people out there who can click much faster than I can. But it can be a little nicer just kind of clicking it as you go, because you can click it once or twice, move around a little bit, click it a few more times, move around a little bit. It feels pretty good just as far as ease of use, though there are some times that I just hold it outright. Now, you're only seeing one clone per copy right now. As you're actually playing this and you're generating power charges, you'll get 3 clones per copy because you're going to be using your power charges as you play. So for our skill gems here, obviously we're going to be running WhirlingAssualt, and then we're running rapid attacks, just get as much attack speed as we can. Heavy swing. Now obviously this counters the attack speed, but I found this is about the highest damage support gem out there that I could use for this slot. Maybe you can find something better that doesn't lose your attack speed here. And then we're using Hef for maximum fizz hit. And then our last socket is going to be Varana's Siege. This is going to give us AoE, and then it's going to give us more damage against isolated targets. And that just means someone that doesn't have a friendly unit near them within, I believe it's 3 meters. So pretty much bosses. If you don't have access to this, just throw a magnified area 2 in here. I think, honestly, having the area is very important for this ability, and just feels good. So that's what I'd recommend. Now, we're going to get Hollow Focus as an ascendancy here, which is just going to spawn bells for us. And those bells are going to be detonated by our Hollow Form WhirlingAssualt clones. So for these, what I've done is I did cooldown recovery so they can spawn a little faster. Concentrated area so that they do a little more damage. They're going to spawn a little closer together as well. We're through Heft in here as well. These are all fizz damage abilities. Close combat, just again trying to stack some damage, and then Culling Strike. These aren't going to do crazy damage, but they are added damage, and anything helps. The Culling Strike is pretty good on here. You'll get a lot of call from this. That's pretty much it for your damaging abilities. And then, like I said, you're going to use Rend for a buff. So you'll just click this every 10 seconds. Well, it'll be, probably 15 seconds, I think, is our buff duration. I don't know if it shows it on here, buff duration. Yeah, 14.85 seconds currently. So every 15 seconds or so, you'll click this and it gives you 50% damage gained as. We use rapid attacks to make it go a little faster. I put magnified area on there, which you don't need because it doesn't even need to hit anyone to trigger the buff. And then prolonged duration so the buff lasts longer. Other than that, everything else is going to be basically support gems. Oh, I guess we do use Freezing Mark as well. I should talk about this. Freezing Mark is going to be used so that we can break armor. We're going to use this with Mark for Death, which makes it to where 15% of physical damage dealt to the target breaks their armor. And by using Freezing Mark, we don't freeze. It never drops. So we throw Prolonged Duration in there, a little Armor Demolisher to get some extra armor break, and we just throw this on bosses or really, really tough rares that we need to do an armor break to get a little extra damage out of. As I talked about before, I am using a companion. This one has extra physical damage aura and all damage shocks. You can switch this up. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd probably get the physical damage aura with like haste aura, maybe something defensive like energy shield aura or something like that. But once you're using Rend, you don't really need the shocks. It can be a little helpful here and there, but it's probably not the greatest. I mainly wanted the extra physical damage aura. So we're gonna throw mainly loyalty is a big thing on here. We just get 10% of our damage taken from the companion before us. And then all the other gems here are going to be to keep him alive. So Last Gas, when he gets hit down to 0 HP, lasts for an extra 4 seconds. Elemental Armor or Army gives him more Ellie res. And then Meat Shield just makes him take less damage. For Wind Dancer, hold on 1 second. Pause for a second here. Let me call you back in just a minute. Okay. All right. Sorry, media. For Wind Dancer, we're going to be using Magnified Area, Blind 2, and Maim. Basically, Wind Dancer is just a stacking buff. It automatically goes passively, stacks up to 3, gives you more evasion. When you get hit, it blows up in an area, and that area is going to be bigger. It's going to blind the enemies and maim them. Just gives you some extra defense. Convalescence is our Oh No button. We put Second Wind, cooldown recovery, and prolonged duration. This is just going to make it to where we can use it more often. It's down less, and then it lasts for longer because while this is on and you're not at full energy shield, it just keeps your energy shield going as far as the recharge. And then we're using charge regulation. This one's really good for the build, basically because we have all 3 charges all the time. We're going to get everything from this. So we're going to get 25% more critical, which we don't really use critical, but it's, you know, great. 19% more armor evasion and energy shield. That's the biggest one. And then 25% skill speed while your frenzy charge, which is also huge. It makes us, you know, whirl and twirl very fast. For the skill tree, I'll start with the ascendancy. So for me, I started with Way of the Stone Fist, which is what makes your gloves operate completely different than they normally do. Nocturnals give shared charges with allies in your presence. I can't even remember. I've never used these gloves in my life. But when you put them on with Way of the Stone Fist, it makes it to where they have a percentage chance to give your allies endurance, frenzy, and power. And since your clones use your equipment, you are their ally, so as they do things, they're generating charges for you. So I went with Way of the Stone Fist first, and I actually used just some regular damage gloves as I was leveling. Really good for leveling. And then once you get your second ascendancy and you can grab Whirling Assault, you can jump up here and grab Hollow Form, throw Whirling Assault on there, do the respec, and you're good. After that, I did grab the Runic Inscriptions, which just lets you put these extra runes here. You get 1 for helm, 2 for body, 1 for your gloves, and 1 for your feet. So just extra runes that you can throw in on top of the runes that you normally get. And then for our last ascendancy point, we did Hollow Focus Technique, which is the bells that I talked about that just drop and give us some extra damage. You can use these for like charge generation and a bunch of different stuff, but for us, we're just using them for extra damage and for cull. Now, for leveling, like I said, I would recommend respecking leveling, something in bow or just something kind of easy until you get 41. Then you can respec over to Whirling Assault and Hollow Form. Pretty basic tree here as far as how I usually do things. We just came straight out, grabbed our evasion nodes. I usually go out through the damage nodes, go up this way, and then respec over to the side down the road. I like to grab Blinding Strikes, Agile Succession, and Subterfuge Mask pretty early out the gate. As well as Concussive Attack. And then normally I'll grab this cluster here, which is just an evasion and energy shield cluster, before I usually make my way up here and grab these good ES nodes, ES regen nodes as well. Usually I'll go out through this energy shield recharge side, just so I have really good recharge on here. And then once I have these clusters up here, with this build, you're going to need efficiency nodes. So as you'll see, I have 2 efficiency clusters. You're probably going to need those sometime around this. Well, this will be going up here and grabbing these will be around 41 roughly, I would say. So you're going to want those pretty much out the gate so that you can easily sustain your Hollow Form. And then once you have sustainability up, I went out, grabbed some AoE nodes, grabbed damage and attack speed when you are on full life and when you've been hit recently. Went out, grabbed some more AoE. Just AoE feels really good with this. There is a good Fizz node up here I grabbed. I wanted to do something a little different, so I didn't go for crit. I mainly just went for Fizz and attack nodes. I also built out here, and I grabbed Daze on Hit with damage against dazed enemies. Increased effect of broken armor and some extra fizz gained. And then we went up here, grabbed damage against rare and uniques and attack speed as well. And then the last place, I think this was one of the last nodes I grabbed, was I went down here and just grabbed some more melee damage, more melee speed. So yeah, it's pretty basic tree, nothing too crazy. And you can pretty much, minus the AoE nodes, I probably wouldn't mess with those, but most of this tree minus the AoE, minus like the days, would be pretty good until you respec, whether you're using bows, a different quarterstaff ability, whatever you decide to level with. I think that pretty much goes over most of it. Like I said, it's a pretty simple, easy build. I'm sure there's a bunch of other build guides out here very similar to this one, but I wanted to get something out there for my version of it, for HCSSF and how we ran it. I do have Mobalytics up, so make sure you check that out if you have any more questions. And I'm live every day on Twitch, 8 a.m. in the morning PST till about 3-4 p.m. PST. So if you have any questions that the Mobalytics or the video doesn't answer, feel free to come through the stream and ask away. Other than that, appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the build. Really appreciate if you guys hit that like and subscribe button. It all helps. And good luck out there. Hope you guys are enjoying 0.5 as much as I am. Stay safe, Exiles.
Mindless.
Flesh to cinders!